Welcome back to the OHIO podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs, aka the Podfather, and you are you, and we're thankful you decided to join us this evening for our Ohio State beat Texas Roundtable discussion show, everybody. It's going to be a power-packed hour to an hour and a half. We're grateful all of you decided to be with us this evening. Do us a big favor if you don't mind and smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already. And please, please, please leave a comment down in the comment section below if you're watching this on replay. If you're listening to the audio version of this, please consider giving us a 5-star review. We really do appreciate that as well. We are the official Ohio State podcast of Fansided and Scarlet and Game. Head on over to scarletgame.com where you can find us there, our audio version. And by the way, you can download us wherever you listen to podcasts at. We are the official Ohio State podcast of The College Huddle. Head on over to thecollegehuddle.com where you can find us, 85 of our other closest friends from coast to coast. This evening's show is brought to you by A Place at Home Senior Care. If your loved one is recovering from a recent hospitalization, stroke, or fall, or living with dementia and needing support at home, A Place at Home Dublin provides home care supportive services like bathing, dressing, mobility assistance, and medication reminders, all in the comfort at home. Learn more at aplaceathome.com/Dublin or call 740-472-8181. And also, guys, don't forget, MyBookie.com. MyBookie.com sponsoring us this month in the first month of the season. Use promo code OHIO, OHIO. Go over to MyBookie.com, type in the promo code OHIO, and get $500 of bet back bonuses. That's right. That is insurance for your bad decisions if you gamble. And then maybe you can learn to gamble a little bit better, like our boy Chris, who's with us tonight. That's right, the wild man is with us. The doctor's in the house, Cory Thompson, and my good friend, former Buckeye national champion, Jamal Luke, in the house tonight. Jamal, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, E? I appreciate you having me back on, man. I always heard if you get invited back for a second or third time, that means you're doing something right. So I appreciate the invite once again, man. Looking forward to a great show tonight.
Indeed. This is a lot of fun. So we've had a whole off season to just do roundtable discussions on all kinds of topics, but now we finally have a game to talk about, and we finally have some results to talk about. And boy, howdy, were those results all right, man. 14-7, Ohio State takes down the number one team in the country, according to all the so-called experts over there at the AP Association, all the journalists voting, I guess you could say. Let's start here, guys. Let's go around the table and let's talk about your initial results from the game, your initial feelings from the game. We haven't talked since the game really ended, and it's been a little over 24 hours to digest this. So, Chris, I'll start with you. We'll go counterclockwise. Your initial thoughts of Ohio State's 14-7 win.
Well, let me just say, if you're a Buckeye fan, you had to wake up smiling ear to ear this morning. I mean, Ohio State faced down the number one team in the nation in Texas. They walked out of there with a gritty, hard-earned win. It wasn't pretty, wasn't flashy, but it was a performance the Buckeyes can be proud of, built on defense, discipline, and a few, key clutch offensive plays. I mean, you got to be positive. Matt Patricia's defense is for real, man. It is for real. Maybe the best unit in the country. They completely shut down the Heisman frontrunner in Arch Manning. He had 38 yards after the third quarter, man. 38 yards. This is a guy who was actually outplayed by our own Julian Saint. If you look at the QBR, Julian had a better QBR than what Arch did. And, I think Julian was very good in his, limited capacity in his first start. I mean, he wasn't asked to do a lot, but what he was asked to do was go out there and not turn over the ball, protect the ball, and to take care or to do the smart things, do the smart things. And that's exactly what he did. He went out there, he led the team. And guys, I think that what maybe is as bright a shining moment as anything yesterday from him was simply that he showed that the moment wasn't too big. For a first time starting quarterback, He played the number one team in the nation on national TV. He proved the moment wasn't too big. I think this is just the start of things to come. Yes, we've got a long way to go. Yes, this offense is going to have to be tweaked. It's going to need to develop. But you know what? This team got a big hurdle out of the way. Now they've got the next 3 to 4 weeks to get things right before we start into our Big Ten schedule.
Cory.
Well, if there was ever a team that deserved to play Grambling, it's Ohio State. Holy smokes. They just had, 18 top 10 teams in a row or whatever to play outside of the team up north. And it just seems like, outside of the one thing that's on Ryan Day's back that he's got to get off his back, he's winning big game after big game after big game. He has destroyed the narrative he can't win the big game. That narrative is dead, gone forever. Forget it. I didn't know what to expect going into this game, and I still don't know what to expect going forward after this game. I learned a few things, but some things were so still not fully developed in front of us that you just don't know. And week one is always a liar. You just never know. I'm not going to put down Texas. They are emphatically a great, talented team. I actually think they have a great coaching staff. People are mocking Sark and mocking Arch, and honestly, I get it a little bit because of all the Arch hype. It's not really his fault. The SEC decided to make him the poster boy, but so I understand a little bit of ridicule is in order, but it downplays what Ohio State did when you tear Texas down. And I think what Ohio State did with so many question marks is remarkably impressive, especially when you consider the fact that we don't know what to expect from the offense still after that game because they were so conservative. It was obvious to us during the game they were not opening up the playbook. They weren't really trusting Sayan yet, and Ryan Day even said as much after the fact. So I don't know what to expect going forward from the offense at all. What I will say this about the defense, I didn't know what to expect from Patricia going into the game, in part because I know he's a genius. I know he knows football front and back, but can he teach it to college kids? That's what my question was. The first step out of the way, yes, he shows he can probably teach it to college kids. But it also helps having an absolute football savant genius like Caleb Downs, coaching the defense on the field. That being said, very impressed with what they did. I've never been more satisfied with a 14-7 win in my life because it's just such a tall task on week one. You haven't had those tune-up games. You couldn't work out the bugs. You didn't get anything on film against an opponent to practice towards going forward. Usually this game is like week 3 or week 4. And to tackle Texas out of the gate with so many new faces, new coordinators, new game planning, a brand new quarterback. I mean, the only experienced players you had on your offense were basically the wide receivers, essentially, and the interior line. And you still went out there and did enough to win. And it was the most Jim Tressel experience of the Ryan Day era I've ever seen. So I'm very happy about the win, I'll tell you, and I'm very impressed with the coaching staff and with the players showing the grit and the just constant fight to keep winning these types of games.
And Tress was in the house.
He was.
Was he?
Oh yeah,
my man.
He was throwing up at some of them punts though. So
yeah, I'm sure he. Jamal, man, your thoughts on yesterday's big win for the Buckeyes?
The punting game did get better as the game progressed, I will say. But yeah, the first couple were like, well, I kind of piggybacking off of Cory there. I loved the fact that the team really pulled out a gritty win. I think what I call really a very mature victory. A lot of times in those opening weeks, you can pull off a victory by getting a splash play here, splash play there, a big turnover here that turned into a pick six, something along those lines. And it really doesn't give you an indicator of what type of football team you have. I think this game, I call it a mature win because we got to see the makeup of this football team, that this is a team that has toughness. They're led by their defense. I think anytime you can be led by your defense, you have a shot at winning the national championship because defense travels. And that's the biggest takeaway, is that we have a mature defensive-led football team. And why that's so powerful also is the fact that a lot of times, even though it's the first game of the season, you have film on the opposition, especially at the quarterback position. You have film on the opposing quarterback from last year that you can really study and break down so you can see tendencies. And Arch had little to no film last year, especially of him throwing the football. But they were able to confuse him really all game. And that goes to show you that the defensive principles that Coach Patricia has instilled in them are something that a lot of teams are going to have trouble with this year. And so that bodes well for us as a team that our defense is so far ahead of the game. We have a shot to really do some big-time things this year. And I would even say this. I think we saw Julian Sayin just really scratch the surface. But what you can see are the traits that as he continues to grow and evolve, he can be a big-time player. The biggest trait you saw him have yesterday was composure. He never got rattled, and he was accurate. If you look at all of his throws, even the throws, there was a couple drops there, he was accurate with the football. And that's the one thing you can't really teach is accuracy. And that's the other thing that was pretty eye-opening in the flip side for Arch Manning is he was not accurate. And that's something that really doesn't have a lot to do necessarily with us being a great defense. That's something he just was not on target with most of his throws. So I think we have a lot of things that we can build from. Obviously, we're going to get better as the weeks go on, but we can really walk away from week one saying that we have a very mature football team that's led by our defense, and we have a new quarterback that is very composed and can accurately throw the football.
Was that our 5th top 10 win in a row?
6th, wasn't it?
I think it was 6th because you go back to Indiana, right?
Well,
Yep.
but no, in a row.
Oh, gotcha.
So you had the 4, you had the 4 in the tournament in the playoffs, and then that one. That's the 5th. So I guess you could say 6th in the last 6 in the last 8.
6 and last 7.
7.
Well, wasn't there someone between Indiana and Team Up North last year? I can't remember. Anyways, I know for a fact I know for a fact that was 5 in a row, which I don't know that that's ever been done before in the modern college football era.
And those 5 were all top 5. It wasn't just top 10. Those were 5.
Tennessee wasn't top 5.
Tennessee was not. Tennessee was top 10, but they weren't top. They weren't top 5.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
And they're missing Nico, obviously. No, sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Well, he's a leaving. So you have that. Ohio State won their 26th straight season opener in this game, going all the way back to 2000. Shout out Jamal Luke for being a part of some of them teams, buddy. They got that streak going, man. They hadn't lost to Miami since 1999 is the last time they lost a season opener. I was in high school then. So that's how, and I'm an old man now. I got a son as a senior in college right now. Let that sink in. And Alabama was the next closest team. Sorry about your luck, Bama. So we are firmly in the lead in that streak, and there's not even anybody close with that one. So you had that. Julian Sayin became the first quarterback since Jim Harbaugh to win his first career start, and it happened to be against the number 1 ranked team in the country.
He probably cheated in that one too.
Yeah, I've seen people saying that. So I mean, sorry, Jim, you can no longer claim that one anymore. Our boy took that one from you too. So yeah, yesterday was a huge day in all around. But my takeaways from this, Jamal, to echo what you said, I did a video earlier, and one of the things I was so impressed with Julian Sayin was his composure. He was as calm and as cool as a cucumber, man. And he didn't let anything get to him. Even those drops that would have been first downs, he had 2 of them, by the way. Max Clare dropped one, and Jeremiah Smith, believe it or not, dropped a first down catch. Those were 2 first down catches that would have kept the drives going. But he didn't let any of that derail him whatsoever. Very cool as a cucumber there. And then, man, I didn't think it was possible that our defense could be as good in the red zone as they were last year.
They might be better, Eric.
Apparently they are. because I went back and I watched that 4th and goal run when that Texas had with Arch, and they tried to tush push him. He lost a yard on that play.
Yeah.
I mean, they absolutely, that defensive line, those 3 guys on the defensive line, absolutely won the line of scrimmage, and it wasn't even close on that play. We'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes.
And Eric, Sark's a hell of an offensive minded coach, but when he gets down inside the goal line against Ohio State,
Lights
he just
out,
has brain freeze, man. He's got brain freeze or something because he can't get it done inside the 5 against Ohio State.
Well, this was the 3rd time that Matt Patricia went up against Steve Sarkisian. The first 2 were in the NFL. Matt Patricia's 3-0. He knows some things.
I like that.
He knows some things. All right, it's time to hand out a letter grade, guys. It's time to hand out our first report card of 2025. Teachers, get your grading pens ready. Let's start with the offense first, right? Let's start with the offense first. I think that might be the way to go. Ohio State had 203 total yards, 126 came on passing yards, 77 on rushing yards, 3.8 yards per play, 11 first downs. They were 3 of 12 on 3rd down, 1 of 2 on 4th down. This is a crazy stat. Listen to this. They ran 54 total plays, which were 13 less than Texas, but they possessed the ball for over 4 minutes and 10 seconds longer than the Longhorns did. So they were a little bit more patient when they had the ball. Only 2 penalties on the day for 15 yards, no fumbles lost, no interceptions, and that's the other thing that you've got to give credit to Julian Sain for, is he didn't turn the football over yesterday. So, which was definitely one of the goals that Ryan Day had for Julian Sain in this offense going into game number 1. Chris, your letter grade for Ohio State's offense against Texas.
I want a C+. I mean, I got to be honest, the offense outright struggled at times. Like you said, only 203 yards, only 3 first downs in 12 attempts. The running game was atrocious. They barely averaged over 2 yards a carry. The O-line, which we bragged about so much, got very little push against that Texas front. And it showed. Now, Carnell Tate gave us a great spark. Julian Sain played smart and confident. But we had conservative play calling, dropped passes, and outside of Carnell Tate, really no explosive plays. That being said, it was against maybe one of the 2 or 3 best defenses in the country. So even though the numbers are low, I'm going to give it a C+.
Cory?
I'm going to go C. I'll look at the offensive line this way. Early on in fall camp, typically the defensive line's crushing the offensive line, right? So I look at this is their first time playing live action together against arguably the best front 7 in college football, possibly, or at least one of the top 2 or 3.
Sure.
So they have the advantage on Texas would have the advantage there. I'll give the offensive line a little bit of a curve there. That being said, yeah, run game was just non-existent. There was some mistakes, mainly drop passes that were frustrated. That Max Clare one frustrated the tar out of me because it's just, come on, man, it's right there. That's what you were brought here to do. And Julian Sain, I'd give him a solid. If I had it individually, I'd give him a B+ because I like composure and everything. Just in his first big game was pretty impressive. But again, it's hard to grade him as well because they were intending on A, slowing the game down, which they did. B, keeping the ball out of Arch's hands as much as humanly possible, and B, just being as conservative as possible, not overwhelming Julian Sain. And they did follow the game plan. It just looked ugly at times, so I'll go C.
Jamal?
I'm gonna go B-. Cory and Chris are a little tough early on in the season. I'm gonna go B-, and I'm gonna go B- simply because I agree with what Cory just said. They accomplished what they wanted to accomplish offensively. They didn't turn the ball over. They milked the clock. And then when they needed to execute, they did execute. I would say the minus really comes into play where we didn't see a lot of splash plays. You know, we had the big play to Carnell Tate, and that was about it. So that's why I go with the minus. But outside of that, they did what they wanted to do. The running game wasn't great, but again, that's one of the best front sevens they're going to face all season. I fully expect the running game between Grambling State and OU over these next few weeks to really get on track, get some solid footing as they head into a little bit tougher opponents. So I'm not too concerned right now with the running game, but I think overall, very, very solid workmanlike performance by the offense.
Yep. B minus. I'm with you. I'm going to be a better grader than those two pessimistic Buckeyes down there below us, Jamal. Usually, I got this, by the way. I need to give Cory credit for this because he's the one who came up with it last year. But I did a good, bad, and ugly episode, Cory, earlier today. And a lot of what you were just talking about was in my bad or ugly. But every time I did, I was like, put an asterisk here, pun intended, Michigan, that we were going up against what might be and what a lot of people considered the best front seven in college football. I read somewhere where there was 3 first-round draft picks in those front seven guys from Texas. We're not going to face another team like that in the regular season that has 3 of them in first-round draft picks. So I'm going to say we're going to get this squared away. We're going to be all right there. Let's flip it over to the other side of the football now, guys. Let's take a look at the defense. Gosh, they played so good. 336 total yards by the Longhorns. A lot of it came, near the end of the game when they were just in the second half trying to get big chunk plays. 170 passing yards, 166 rushing yards for 5 yards per carry, 16 first downs. They were 5 of 14 on third down, 1 of 5 on fourth down. Good job getting off the field again, defense. They forced 4 punts. Texas had 6 penalties for 50 yards, by the way. They did create a turnover. There was 1 interception, and Texas had the ball for 27 minutes and 55 seconds. Chris, your letter grade for this Matt Patricia defense?
A++. Absolutely. I mean, they were flat out dominant. Held the number 1 team in the country to just under 7 points, just 7 points. For 3 whole quarters, they had them shut out. In the fourth quarter, as we're watching our game watch yesterday, I was getting ticked off that we were going to lose the shutout. And that frustrated the snot out of me because I really, really wanted that. But you know what? You cannot fault these guys. 2 big red zone stops, including that massive goal line stand. Shut them down, like you said, 4 or 5 times on fourth down. Championship level defense. Arch Manning, Heisman favorite, non-factor. Patricia's scheme, the tackling, the clutch playmaking, just elite. This defense is elite in week 1. This is a championship D. A+ all the way.
Cory.
I'm going B+. The only concern I really have is, let's be real about something. We got a little lucky at times. So Manning was just flat out missing people that were open. And I don't mean like missing people like he didn't see them. I mean just when he just inaccurate. And I think a better quarterback completes those like in 3rd and 5 late in the game. That drive keeps going instead of faltering. First play of the game, I think he rolled out in a little bootleg and he just skipped it to the guy who was wide open. So there's still some things to work on. I mean, the lack of pass rush kind of like a little bit with me. And honestly, Texas ran the ball okay on us. Interesting thing about Matt Patricia is this. When we hired him, I read this about him. I said, well, what have his strengths and weaknesses been when he was in New England? I didn't care about Detroit or whatever when he was in New England. A, he doesn't get much of a pass rush. B, you can run the ball on him. C, his back 7 scheming is ridiculously good. And D, you don't score a lot of points on him. And I'm like, man, that was spot on what we just saw yesterday.
Whoever came up with that.
He's a bend but don't break guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to grade it, but the only thing that concerned me again is like I think we were helped by the fact Arch just missed a few key throws. But that being said, the way we confused him was genius. Like, and I will say this again. I'm going back to Caleb Downs. I just saw a video of him where he literally sidestepped one way just to show Arch that he was covering a spot that he actually wasn't covering. The guy ended up being wide, freaking open. Probably would have been a touchdown, but since Caleb did that, it totally confused Arch. So the fact that you could see what little things Matt is teaching our players, I think bodes extremely well down the line. I think our defense, as good as it was, is going to get better and better as we go.
Jamal.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Cory there. I'm actually going to go with an A for the defense, but similar sentiments where giving up 4.5 yards a pop on the ground, you don't ever want that to be the regular week in, week out. And then also, again, Arch definitely helped us in some key areas with his inaccurate throws. But overall, I go with the A because the defense stepped up when they needed to, getting the big fourth down conversions, also getting the turnover. And then also, really being able to, in spite of the lack of pressure, that wasn't great that we weren't really getting much pressure from the D-line, still being able to hold up on the back end the way that we did bodes well for our coverage unit. And that's a big difference from last year where we had a lot of guys, a lot of times you saw, Denzel or Igbinosun getting beat, in one-on-one coverage. We really didn't see that out of our DBs yesterday from some of the best wide receivers we're going to face this year, especially Ryan Wingo, one of the fastest guys we'll face this year. So very, very solid performance from our defense. They obviously carried us yesterday. So I'm going to go with the A for our defense.
Did you guys see the clip where Arvell, some guy broke it down really, really good?
Yeah, I actually posted it.
Okay,
earlier.
What did he call that?
It's a coffee house blitz.
Coffee house. I've never heard of that before. Jamal, have you ever? I mean, what did you
Is
guys
that
call?
We didn't call it that. Are you talking about the one where he looked away and then
Yes.
Yeah, and he kind of faded to one side and then came back in.
Yeah, that's definitely that's an NFL scheme for sure.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I guess we can just call things, if we're going to call that a cough. I always thought it was a delayed blitz is what I was, the terminology I used.
Well, he did three things. He showed blitz, backed off, stayed there, waited for the tackle to look away,
and then delayed, yeah. And then at the same time, you had one of the defensive backs rushing off the corner.
To keep the
attention
off.
And you had a defensive end drop back into coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was that was NFL scheming all the way. Yeah, I think a lot of programs, if you're confusing a guy like Sark, you're going to confuse a lot of these other coaches.
It's interesting with somebody, football. I think Johnny Manziel said it. He goes, Patricia used to defend Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. Who the heck is Arch Manning?
That's valid. That's valid.
If you were watching yesterday, you would think he's the second coming of his uncles Peyton and Eli with all the commercials he had.
Right.
I mean,
he's already made his millions.
Yes. That guy's made more money in NIL than he might make in the NFL. You think about that for a second.
But can we not all agree that what that kid is the pressure he is under is just unfair?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Completely.
What the SEC media has done to him, what the national media has done to him, what his family has done to him inadvertently.
Yeah. Right.
That is pressure that's just not fair.
I'm not going to say it's unfair, Chris. He's very well compensated.
True. He is.
Fair point.
He's
okay.
Well
That's a good point.
Now, if this was, 20 years ago, back when I was playing and he was under that, then I'd go with that. But
he's in the SEC.
Well, he's in the SEC. He still got paid. That's right.
Yeah, true.
Dude, read this. Arch had more commercials than pass completions.
I just want to finish this one point real quick. It was the perfect win. A win against a top team in the country. Plenty to work on in the film.
Yep.
So,
this isn't me piling on, but this is me piling on. For a kid who grew up going to the Manning passing camps, dude,
his mechanics were awful.
That did not look like Peyton or Eli throwing the football mechanically at all.
No.
Off his back foot, sidearm, I don't want to open this can of worms, but I think some of these younger quarterbacks growing up, they see what, Pat Mahomes does.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Dylan Raiola. Yeah.
I had a coach who said, if you can't make the routine plays, you ain't playing for me.
Mm.
That was kind of the era I grew up in. And some of these kids, they try to do these things that are routine, but they try to jazz them up because that's, get on it. Sports Center, I guess. I don't know. Is Sports Center even a thing? I don't know. All right. There's our grade cards, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for chipping in the chat with that. Let's hand out some Buckeye Leafs. Yes,
yeah,
Chris.
Okay. No. I'm sorry. I was getting ahead of me. I was getting ahead of us. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's hand out some Buckeye Leafs for the first time this year, everybody. The slate is clean. The helmet had nothing on it yesterday on either side. By the way, is it Jamal, as a former Buckeye, as a man who got Buckeye Leafs on his helmet, when you get that initial helmet and there's nothing on it, doesn't it feel a little naked? Like, you're like, man, I gotta get some Buckeye Leafs.
Can't wait to decorate it. Absolutely.
Did you guys ever like look at someone else's helmet with you or talking trash with each other and be like, dude, you only got like 6 Buckeye Leaves on your helmet, man?
Now we never clowned each other on the leaves, but I tell you what makes the Buckeye Leaves really special is 90% of it is based around team goals. So there are a few individual leaves you'll get, but 90% of them are based around team or unit goals. So if you're on the offensive unit and you played X amount of plays and the offense reached their goals in these areas, then everybody on that unit gets a leaf.
Okay.
So that's what makes it even more special, and in that way that you got to really do it together as a team to have the full helmet.
That makes sense why the quarterback and the receivers have like the most Buckeye Leafs all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. All right, let's do it, guys. This is my favorite thing to do, man. Let's jump right in. Let's go with offensive player of the game, Cory. Sorry, Chris.
It would have been easy to pick Carnell Tate, but I went with Julian Sayin just because of the fact that he had a lot of drop passes, faced a lot of pressure, showed the poise. Like I said earlier, showed the moment wasn't too big. This kid's going to be a big-time quarterback in the near future.
Yeah, he's no Bryce Underwood, though.
Why? Why, Cory?
Because
I've been perfectly calm all night. I've been calm. I'm sitting here watching the U beating Notre Dame, and I've been in a good mood, and I'm calm. And then you start this stuff.
Yeah, he played Powerhouse New Mexico, man. Watch out. Anyways, I'm going with left tackle Austin Servold for the Buckeye Leaf because he held Colin Simmons in check, man. And,
facts, no sacks. Yeah.
He went from being a 6-man rotational guard last year to now all Big Ten type left tackle in his first game, playing against one of the best defensive ends in the country. And he kept Julian Sayin clean. In fact, there was a couple of times other guys were losing their one-on-one battles. Not Austin. He kept his guy off him. Get that Buckeye Leaf, man.
Jamal.
I got to go with my XZs, my fellow wide receiver, Carnell Tate. Big time play at a big moment when we needed it. He came up with a huge catch. That wasn't an easy catch. It was an underthrown ball. But for him, with the defender draped all over him, for him to be able to make that play at the time we needed it, I got to go with Carnell Tate.
Andre calling in on yesterday's show. Julian Sayin. Just saying. Cory's about ready to pull a Chris here in a second.
If I got to live with that, Chris got to live with my Michigan tags here.
Fair enough. Defensive player of the game, Chris.
I went with a guy who's an absolute beast. He was everywhere. That's Arvell Reese, man. 9 tackles, our only sack, tackle for loss, but he was disruptive even without getting the stats. Every time it seemed like he was in somebody's face.
I went with Caleb Downs. The dude's about to be one of my top 3 all-time favorite Buckeyes. I can't, after watching like clips of people dissecting what he did all day today, or not all day today when I got home from work, I just can't believe how smart and how good he is. It's not even like the stats. It's just Devin Sanchez at one point didn't know where to line up, and Caleb switched up with him to make sure he got in the right position and just totally playing with Arch's eyes and stuff. Like I can't believe how good he is. I'm mad we only get him for one more year this year. I wish he could stay. But you know what? If I'm an NFL team, I don't care what my need is. Top 5 pick, Caleb Downs is it. He's the most guaranteed player I've seen possibly ever.
Jamal.
I'm going to go with Noah Igbinosun. This is a guy who last year lost a lot of his one-on-one battles, and I think he really showed himself well. His coverage skills appeared to be much more consistent in yesterday's game. He also led the team with 10 tackles, had a pass deflected, and this is a guy they're counting on heavily. I mean, he's the guy in that defensive backfield outside of Caleb. And for him to step up like that in the opening week, he really showed progress from last season. So I'm going with Noah for mine.
All right, Iggy, and the chat agrees with you. A lot of people calling out Iggy for defensive MVP on that one, man. Jamal,
no penalties.
Yeah. Jamal, is Caleb Downs a cheat code, man?
Oh yeah, anytime you can have your safety lead the back, not just the back end, but the entire defense, you're in a good situation because that's the quarterback of the defense. And so when you can have your safety be that type of playmaker, not just from a physical standpoint, but also from a mental standpoint, it is definitely a cheat code because every team has got solid safeties that can physically play the position, but not all of them have the mental capacity to be able to do what Caleb Downs has been doing now for the last year and a half. And so he's definitely a big time advantage for us. Reminds me a lot of Mike Dawson that way. He was the same way for our defense. All 4 years he was here. And so I think there's a very, very big advantage when you can have the safety be that type of quarterback for your defense.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed. All right. I'll just chime in, and since I'm not really counting mine, since we have 3 other people here that to make the graphic with, and I'm going to pull an Aaron since I'm not going to make the graphic, Chris. I'm just going to say the entire defensive line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you notice when Mike Doss left after 2002, the 2003 defense wasn't quite as good.
Yeah, that was a big gap. It was a big gap. We had solid guys, but Mike was such a quarterback back there, not only obviously physically, but mentally, the things he was able to do. And so that makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our offensive play of the game, Chris.
Well, you got to go with Tate, the 40-yard touchdown, man. That was the only explosive play of the game.
Tate is the obvious answer. I'm going to be a little different.
You're different, Cory.
I'm very different. That's true. Dang, Chris, you knocked that one out of the park. I'm proud of you. I'm going to go with the touchdown run with CJ just because it was so much fun to watch double teaming that tackle and put him on skates and put him on the ground, and CJ knew exactly where the hole is. And then Nate Roberts, a freshman, I think he's a freshman, right? I don't know how many. We have so many tight ends now. I don't know which one's a freshman anymore. Getting a chip on that linebacker a little bit. I kind of like the design of it, and CJ getting in and honestly getting us started on offense.
Jamal, your offensive play of the game.
Yeah, I already said it as well. Definitely got to go Carnell Tate. I mean, that play was huge. It sparked our offense. We were a little methodical and monotonous, and then that play was just huge to get the juices going. So Carnell Tate for me.
Yeah, that was it showed 2 things. Brian Hartline's willing to dial it up, and we have maybe the best number 2 wide receiver in all of college football, because he would be the number 1 on probably 125 out of the 136 other teams in college football Division I. So yeah, and I'm really rooting for him this year to have a huge year, because I want to continue to see that first round draft pick streak keep going. So Here's to him. All right, our defensive player hit of the game, Chris.
This one was tough. We were about 30 or about 3 inches from us having a different one called here. But I got to go the Jermaine Matthews interception. Had Sonny just gotten his hands in there a little bit more, we might have had a different defensive play of the game. But as it stands, I'm going with Jermaine Matthews.
Corey.
4th down goal line stand.
Yes. All right.
That. I mean, at the time I was like, well, there's. I mean, like last year, even you should have faith in it. But I'm like, new coordinator, new guys, who knows? I mean, but I was like, Caden McDonald's about to earn his NIL here, and he didn't disappoint, man. He killed that center. So that's just so impressive. I don't know how this team is so good at it. You can't call a team soft that's that good on the goal line. You just can't.
You got that right.
Yeah. No joke, dude. Good call. Jamal, your defensive player hit of the game.
I'm actually going to go with the last defensive play that we had, that big stop. We got the pressure on Arch, and he escaped and still got that ball off. So Sonny Styles making that tackle, if he doesn't make that tackle and they get that first down, we might be having a little bit different
that was
discussion.
Caleb.
That was Caleb Downs, wasn't it?
That was Caleb. I'm sorry. Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Remember, he's the cheat code.
Right,
and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jamal, it was C.J. Hicks that got the pressure off.
C.J. Hicks got the pressure. Yeah.
Did that remind you of C. Grant a little bit there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure did. And but, yeah, for Caleb to get him down, because if he doesn't, like I said, we might be having a little bit different discussion because they were starting to pick up some momentum there. So that's my play of the game there.
Talk about the unselfishness of Caleb on that play. So many guys I've seen in the past go for the pick six or go for the flashy play. Yeah. He's just like, just get him down. It's going to be game over. So
smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good awareness.
I have to feel like Texas was seeing deja vu on that play. C.J. Hicks coming off the end, getting pressure on the quarterback. We're only down 7. We're driving to tie the game up, and then all of a sudden it's just taken from you.
Are you saying that 11 started to look like a 33?
The digits there kind of 11 to 33. I'm saying that there was a lot in that game that God had to feel like deja vu to that fan base. Lot in that game.
Jack Sawyer's living in their head rent free.
Chris, I'm about ready to come through this screen. That is becoming my least favorite cliche in all of sports.
I will say this for the Texas fans that I've interacted with. Give them credit. They're all telling me the same thing. We lost. It is what it is. They're not making excuses or saying, the refs cheated or whatever. It's like, you know what? You can make fun of us for losing, but I doubt many SEC teams could keep it with one score. This, and I was like, well, you know what? That's pretty cool. I'll take that. You take the L and you own it. That's cool.
And it was SEC ref crew. An SEC reffing crew.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys can't.
And let's just put it out there. It doesn't hurt either of these teams if they would have lost.
No,
it really doesn't.
Close game like that.
Not given the extended playoff format. This does not hurt either.
Texas will be there, 100%.
Yeah. In fact, I was doing a show with Jerry earlier today, and I said the fact that Texas lost the way they did and Clemson lost the way they did, I can see where they would get the benefit of the doubt as a 9-3 team over a 10-2 team who didn't play anybody in their non-conference. If that happens, watch out. All of a sudden, you're going to start to see a much more interesting non-conference schedule from people. So
I hope they do reward that, to be honest with you.
I do too.
They should.
It makes college football a whole heck of a lot more fun for all of us.
I don't want to see 4, freaking Mercers at the beginning of the season. Who wants to watch the first month of that?
Jamal, as a former player, man, you played in these games. Like, you want to play good talent in the non-conference, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, your preparation that week is on a whole nother level. Your focus, and then the atmosphere in the stadium is just on a totally different level compared to when you're playing a non-conference team. Like the shoe is going to be a completely different atmosphere this coming Saturday. Just call it.
It's gonna be quiet this Saturday.
As a player, you feel that and you feed off of the crowd. So you live for those big games.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, hey,
indeed.
credit the Buckeye Nation this past Saturday. My goodness,
They were
loud.
also part of my good, Cory, was the crowd. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
And let's think about it. OSU's last 2 home games, which have been absolutely out of this world, were them taking down the SEC's top dogs. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Was
something to say.
Tennessee really the top dog?
No,
If you ask SEC fans, up until they lost to Ohio State, they were a top dog.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. $5 super chat. Let's get to this right after our commercial break. We'll let this be our first question right after our commercial break. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Let these guys get a quick drink or use the bathroom. And then we're going to come back and we're going to open it up to questions to Jamal. We're going to let you all ask him questions. We'll ask some questions, have a great conversation with my good buddy, former Buckeye Jamal Luke. Everybody hang tight. We'll be right back after these commercial break. The OHIO podcast is brought to you by Mastermind. Mastermind specializes in 360-degree high-definition mobile video mapping, GIS integration, and traffic safety studies. Mastermind cares about traffic safety and keeping you safe on the roadway. Visit Mastermind at onlinemastermind.com.
Hey Buckeye Nation, the OHIO podcast is thrilled to partner with Export Mouthguards, the innovators redefining protection in contact sports. Introducing the Ninja Pro Mouthguard, the strongest and most advanced mouthguard on the market. Engineered by dental experts, it's designed to deliver elite protection with a sleek, low-profile fit. Made with carbon fiber and multi-layer construction, it's impact tested to keep you safe from even the hardest hits. But that's not all. The Ninja Pro is 3D printed for 100% custom fit, offering unbeatable comfort and security for any athlete. From football to MMA, dominate your game with confidence while safeguarding your teeth and jaw. Getting started is easy. Use our home impression kit to create your custom fit and enjoy prepaid shipping. It's protection delivered right to your door. Plus, with a 1-year warranty and 100% satisfaction guarantee, and proudly made in the USA, the Ninja Pro is your ultimate defense on the field or in the ring. And here's the best part. When you visit exportguards.com, use promo code OHIO at checkout to get 20% off your purchase. That's right, 20% off elite protection made just for you. Protect your game, protect your future. Choose Export Ninja Pro Mouthguards, where innovation meets protection. Head to exportguards.com and use promo code OHIO today.
All right, let's get into it, man. Sax 3074 with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Jamal, what was it like playing with Jonathan Wells and Maurice Clarett, especially beating that team up north?
Great question. Those are my guys, man. Well, let me start with J-Dub, Jonathan Wells, one of the all-time great OSU running backs. And if you remember that 2001 season, that was the team that we were the first team to really right the ship against that team up north. And a big reason we were able to go up there and make that happen in 2001 is because of the game that Jonathan Wells had and the big runs, big touchdowns. But J-Dub really was the key to us coming out of that game with a W. And that game is what really turned everything in the OSU-Michigan rivalry this century. And so J-Dub, just because of that game alone, had a great career, but because of that game alone, he's forever going to be remembered as one of the great OSU running backs and really one of the great players in that rivalry. So to be able to play alongside of him, still a good friend to this day, was truly an honor, and one of the most down-to-earth, genuine people, tells it like it is, that you'll ever meet. So much love for J-Dub. And then Reese, unquestionably one of the all-time great OSU running backs. Would have loved to have been able to play with him for multiple seasons. But we were actually locker mates. Our lockers were right next to each other. So I had a chance really just to be, up close and personal to witness his greatness from day one. when he came in as an early enrollee and was a man amongst boys from day one. I remember in one of our winter workouts, he had just had a thumb surgery or something along those lines, but he had a cast on his thumb, and we were running 40s in our winter workouts, and I watched him run a 4.5 40 with the cast on his thumb, and we knew, seeing things like that as an 18-year-old kid, that he was going to be something special. And then the way he just, grasped the offense right away and was just really ahead of other guys that had been there for multiple years right out of the gate, just with his mental capacity to be able to understand nuances of the game that a lot of seniors and veteran players don't even have. He had that from day one, on top of the uncanny physical ability, great vision, great feet. And he, obviously we had a great team the year we won the national championship, but there's no way, no question, we don't win the national championship without Maurice Clarett. And so when you talk about Maurice Clarett and Jonathan Wells, those are two of the best that have ever donned the scarlet and gray in the backfield, no doubt about it. And I'm, just blessed and grateful that I was able to be teammates with those guys, for sure.
Did anybody see the picture of Coach Carlos Lachlan and Maurice Clarett together from the game yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, go look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, those two.
Reese looks like he can still play. He can still go for 200 yards.
Honestly, Lachlan would have been a great coach for Reese.
Rock would have been a great fullback for him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm like, I looked at that picture, like that picture goes hard, boys and girls. Like that is a picture's worth 1,000 words if there ever was one.
I'm just so glad again that Reese is part of the program again. Just
yeah. Absolutely, yes. Long overdue. I mean,
100%.
His wisdom, what his life experience has been, where he's at now. Those guys can learn so much from him, and I'm so glad to see that Coach Day and the program have embraced him and allowing those kids to really glean from his wisdom, because he has got a ton of amazing things happening in his life, and those kids are going to be much better off for him being around that program.
Absolutely.
$2 super chat from Bobby Mack. This could have been an amazing night game. Jamal, what's your thoughts on all these big noon kickoffs by Ohio State, man?
As a player, there's pros and cons. As a player, you love the noon kickoffs because you get up and you get after it. You don't the night games. There's a lot of waiting around, and you hate that part of it. Now the atmosphere, I think, is a notch above at night, and you love that as a player, but you hate to have to wait around all day to get after it. So that's the advantage of the early kicks, is you get to get after it as soon as you get up almost. And so you appreciate that as a player.
All right, I've got one question, and then I'm gonna let Chris and Cory start asking some questions. I'll manage the chat and throw one in from the chat every now and then. Jamal, I know you work the radio on Friday nights. If I'm not mistaken, is it Delaware County that you're doing games in?
Yep, okay. WINF, Delaware County Game of the Week, Friday nights.
I've been doing a little research. Not on you, but on Delaware County. Okay. Did you guys know Delaware County is becoming a Division I hotbed recruiting county?
Oh yeah. There's a ton of them. So this week I've got Olentangy versus Olentangy Orange, and that game alone has got probably 8 between both teams, 8 D1 guys. So yeah, no doubt.
You've got Favor Key here in Delaware Hayes. You got, and then you said the Orange. Liberty, was it Liberty last year had the quarterback who went to Penn State?
That was Olentangy.
Okay.
Yeah, year before last. So this is his second year at Penn State now.
Yeah. So Jamal, my question is this. Obviously the population boom aids in that, but what is it that you can put your finger on beyond that is causing this county, which, if you don't know, Delaware County sits right just north of Franklin County, and I if I'm not mistaken, you've got at least 4 guys currently on the roster from Delaware County schools. Like Garrett Stovers from Sunbury, Big Walnut. That's another Delaware school. The freshman offensive lineman Cook, yeah, it was Westerville North. That's a Delaware County school. We have one of the walk-ons at running back is who am I thinking
Stanley
of?
Jackson.
Stanley Jackson's boy. Yeah, he's from Westerville North.
And there's a another walk-on DB from Olentangy. His name is slipping me right now.
Anyways, if you want to watch scouts from the Big Ten, come to a Delaware County game. They're all over the place. Like they're coming to these schools and they're trying to recruit, because if Ohio State doesn't take one, Penn State's coming in here, Michigan State's coming in here, Purdue's coming in here, Indiana's coming in here, and they're trying to get some of these kids from Delaware. So Jamal, what is it about this county that's causing there to be so much talent coming out of it all of a sudden?
And I want to make sure I get his name out there, give him some love. Omar Ja is the defensive back from Olentangy. That's a DB for Ohio State, freshman walk-on this year. Very, very good player. I was able to cover a couple of his games last year. But to answer your question there, E, I think it's twofold. One, the schools have great coaches. All the Olentangys have great staffs. Big Walnut staff is very, very solid. Got a chance to get to know Coach Montgomery at Hayes as well. Very, very solid coach. So their staffs are phenomenal, and I think that's a key part of it. I think the other key is just honestly the expansion of the area. So when you think of from a talent perspective, so many kids that maybe used to fall into, a different area, but it now has been pushed out into those Powell and Sunbury areas. Just the law of numbers, you're going to have more athletes popping up. So I think the population, the coaching staff, and then also just the training that's available to these kids. And typically in that area, from a financial standpoint, those kids are going to be able to afford the training that's available. So you have kids getting top-notch training from, elementary, middle school, all the way through high school, on top of the population growth, on top of the solid coaching. That's a great recipe to help your kid go D1.
Yeah. Doesn't hurt calling those games either, does it?
No, not at all. It's always a good time on Friday nights.
That's it. Chris, man, go for one. You or Cory, jump in, boys.
Okay, so Jamal, you were just talking about some of these young kids, including a walk-on we've got right now on the team. What advice would you give to these young athletes who dream of playing at a high level, like at Ohio State, but face obstacles like walking on, especially given the fact that there's talk of reduction of rosters?
Great question, Chris. I'd tell them marry the process, divorce yourself from the results. And that's a life principle that will carry you in anything you choose to pursue and help you to be successful, because a lot of times as a walk-on, you don't get the perks, the immediate perks that the rest of the scholarship guys get for putting in the same work. And so it's very easy to get discouraged and get down on yourself and to question yourself. Did you make the right decision? And listen to other people in your ear about, well, you should transfer and go here. You can get more playing time and, things of that nature. But one of the things that helped me, and I would tell anybody that's in that situation, is just focus on your process. Focus on what you want out of the situation. So, if it's to go pro, focus on the process of getting there. The results will take care of themselves. Just by being at Ohio State, you're going to get in front of eyeballs that are professional teams. If your goal is just to get a degree and make some great memories, focus on the process and don't allow, temporary results keep you from making great memories and getting your degree. There was a lot of guys that I played with that focused more on the results than the process, and they ended up transferring the summer that we won the national championship. They gave up all that work they had put in those, first 2-3 years. They got blindsided by the temporary results and ended up leaving right before the payoff came. And so now their life is a completely different life story versus had they just stayed and focused on the process. They could have had a completely different life story. So that would be my message to any of those guys.
Oh, with that being said, let me piggyback off that. What do you think about all these kids just upping and leaving, transferring all the time?
Yeah, it's a different era. I always tell people this. I can't really fault people for transferring. It really comes down to you got to make the best decision for you, and that's why it's important to be super clear on what you want. Because if you make a decision based on what other people want, you'll end up living other people's lives instead of your own. And so, there's guys that are transferring for more playing time. And, that's a decision I was faced with. Even I transferred from a Division II school, Tiffin University, to Ohio State, got to Ohio State, and then was faced with, okay, now that I've been here, I've kind of paid my dues. It's not happening as fast as far as playing time as I wanted to. Do I transfer now to a MAC school where I know I can play? Coming from a big program like Ohio State, I can go there and dominate. And I was faced with that. But for me, what was more important was to stay where my feet were planted, to be committed to the process, and to graduate as a 4-year player and a letter winner at Ohio State. That was more important to me than being all MAC at Bowling Green or OU or Kent. And because that was what I was clear on and I made that choice, now I have a national championship ring. And that national championship experience has opened up so many doors for my life that being a 100 catch, 1,500 yard receiver at Toledo would have never opened up. And so it just comes down to being clear on what you want so you can make the most accurate decision for your life.
Mika Hanna wants to know, why did we keep running the ball at the Texas defensive tackles yesterday, Jamal? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Hey, Mika, what's up? A lot of that was to control the clock. And that's the thing about the running game. You don't want to give up on it too early. Even if it feels like it's not working, it's still controlling the clock. And that was the objective of the offense, was to keep the ball away from Arch Manning and those explosive receivers that they had over there, and to limit, third and long situations where maybe Julian would have to come out of character and make a play that he might not have necessarily been ready for. So the purpose of running game was to milk the clock, keep it third and manageable so Julian Sand could stay composed and within his zone.
Chris.
All right, Jamal. So looking back on your playing time, was there a game, a moment, just some special time at Ohio State that you can point to that taught you the most about leadership and perseverance?
Great question, Chris. If it had to be one moment, it would be the moment I first actually got on the game field, and that was against Kent State, running down on kickoff. And for me, that was such a huge moment because all of the hard work had finally paid off. For a guy like me, I made plays in practice, made plays in scrimmages, made plays in open scrimmages in the stadium. But to actually, put in that work and then you don't see the results necessarily manifest. I'm not the starting wide receiver. I'm not, on the 2 deep. I'm not on the 3 deep, but I've been putting in the work and I know I can make plays. Coach Stresh, still to this day, he'll see me and he'll say, all he does is make plays. Like I knew I can make plays, but it wasn't happening for me. But in that moment, when I got to be on the field against a school in 100,000 people screaming, it made all the moments of doubt, all the moments of questioning, it made it all pay off. So if I had to capture it in one moment, it would be that moment when I got to finally touch the game field.
It's awesome.
I'm toying with a question, but it might just piss everybody off.
Cory,
What a
man.
surprise.
Well, okay. Since Jamal's here, Jamal, please don't hate me for this. Well, you may. I mean, it's up to you, obviously.
I'm wondering if you're going down the same path I was thinking about going down earlier. Let's see.
Everybody here knows I'm not in love with Krenzel as a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Not in personal. I'm sure he's a good guy. I have nothing. But I remember my dad and I watched him. He would frustrate the crap out of us sometimes. Do you think that you not being able to get on the field was because of the lack of ability at quarterback? I'm kidding. What made him? Okay, I'm being real now. What made him special? Because obviously he won a title, and you can't take that away from him. But I tell you, is from a fan perspective, who honestly does. He's forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. I admit that and submit that to him, but including yourself, obviously. What made him special as the leader?
Craig's brain, his mental capacity to know what was required of him and the offense at the right time was on another level. And he wasn't the flashiest, but he was effective. He was accurate. He was a much better athlete than most gave him credit for. And he was very, very composed in pressure situations, which that's what our team needed, especially in the 02 season. We don't win the national championship without Craig Krenzel in his makeup. And he was able to always stay level-headed, cool, calm, and collected, and deliver in clutch moments. And that's something that, a lot of quarterbacks, you can have all the arm talent in the world, be the best athlete in the world. But if you don't have the ability to stay level-headed and have the other 10 guys in that huddle believe that everything is going to be okay when your back's against the wall, then everything else doesn't matter. And Craig had that it factor, and that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, I'll admit there's games I'm watching. I'm like, oh god, he's driving me nuts, and then Holy Buckeye happens, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
My all-time favorite play as an Ohio State fan. I don't know that it'll ever be topped. That was my all-time favorite.
That actually got me going nuts in a bar. I was like around strangers, just like, oh my god.
But if you've never heard it, Cory, you've got to go back and listen to Tim Anderson's take on Holy Buckeye.
I gotta go back.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
I got to check that out. What did Timmy say?
So Tim, it was Tim and it was
Ben Hartsock.
Ben Hartsock were on together.
Okay.
And they're on with the Buckeye Lounge with Sean and TG. Shout out Sean and TG. And oh my gosh, did you guys just see the catch in the Miami game?
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Anyways,
wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. Anyways, so Sean, I can't remember which one asked him about it. And Tim goes, I was on the sidelines, and he goes, I saw it opened up, and he goes, Krenzel could have ran for the first down. He goes, here Krenzel's going to go. He's going to run for the first down. And he goes, all of a sudden I see he throws it, and the first thing into my mind was, Krenzel, you stupid son of a... and then he goes, and then we won. We caught it, we won. But yeah, like that was his initial. What was your initial thought when you saw the ball go up?
It was just, that was up in the air for probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, and Jamal went, Krenzel, you stupid son of a...
That was the longest, that was the longest play of my life, my football life. I mean, that ball had to have been in the air for, like I said, 10 minutes. It was unbelievable.
You know what, Sean? I'm going to give it to Michael Jenkins on that. I don't know how he got that open. He just shook his guy.
Yep.
Oh, gosh, that is fantastic. Let me read another question here from the chat so we don't fall too far behind. Jamal, what would you want to see? Sorry, I should probably put it up. What do you want to see in the next 3 weeks with this team? This is from Tyler. And I'll piggyback off that a little bit and say this goes kind of in question with a thought process I had. You always hear they say from week 1 to week 2 is the greatest, I guess you could say the best week of practice for a team because the most improvement you will see in a team is from week 1 to week 2. I kind of don't think that that's necessarily true, but I understand because you now have film on yourselves. So maybe those two can correlate these questions here.
Yeah, I'd say defensively, you want to see consistent dominance that we saw in week 1, especially with the opponents that we have coming out. What is it? I know Grambling, OU. Who's the third?
We have a bye week, and then we go to Seattle to take on Washington.
Then Washington, yeah. So, especially against Grambling and OU, you want to see dominant defensive performances. You don't want to see guys now starting to get beat, for lack of focus, things that maybe crept up from last season. You don't want to see that happen. Offensively, what you're really looking for now is to clean up some of those areas that we didn't see pop yesterday. So we want to see the run game be able to average 4+ per carry, especially these next couple weeks against inferior defensive fronts. Because what that'll show us is if we're not averaging 4+ per carry against these fronts, now we have a us issue that we need to get corrected. So I'm going to be looking for that from the run game. Want to see Julian take that next step as a quarterback to complete maybe a few more of those splash pass plays because, again, we're going against inferior secondaries now. Can we see Jeremiah Smith, kind of return to form like we were expecting yesterday? Again, that great defense by Texas, but we know Jeremiah Smith is a freak of nature. We want to see some of those splash plays from him over these next couple weeks. So that's what I'm going to be personally looking for over these next few weeks, because what you want is you want to be clicking offensively and defensively when we go to Washington. And the reason it is, that's going to be our first big road test. We're in a completely different time zone. And so a lot of factors there that make that not just a layup game. So we need to be clicking on all cylinders going into Seattle in a couple weeks.
Chris,
Washington's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to kind of piggyback off a little bit what you were talking about with the receivers there. I'm asking Jamal Luke, the former wide receiver, and the analyst, not Jamal Luke, the former Buckeye, because I'm going to ask you to be maybe a little bit critical here.
Okay.
In yesterday's game, we saw what I would call kind of mediocre performance at times by our receivers. We had a lot of drops that typically wouldn't happen. Did you see anything Texas was doing specifically, or that maybe the Buckeyes were doing specifically, that may have contributed to those factors? Do you think it had anything with Brian Hartline's move to the press box from the sideline? Anything there that you saw that you thought might be causing some of the struggles our receivers were having?
No, honestly, Chris, for me, when I look at it, I don't see us. I saw we had a couple drops. Jeremiah had a couple drops just where he took his eye off the ball. You hate to see that, but it happens as a wide receiver. There wasn't anything in his game yesterday that made me look and question, okay, what's going on? What changed? Max Clare has a drop on the sideline, tight end, trying to keep his feet in bounds as he makes that catch. It's a lot harder than it looks, especially for a tight end. If that was a wide receiver, I expect that to be kind of more routine, but as a tight end, that's a lot harder than it looks. So there wasn't anything that happened that's cause for concern. I think it was just more of, it was a conservative game plan intentionally, with it being Julian's first start. And I think we're going to see Coach Hartline open it up more as the season progresses. And there's still no doubt in my mind that we have the best wide receiver core, maybe even the best tight end room, if definitely in the Big Ten, if not in the country.
Awesome.
Hey, Jamal, how does it feel when you're wide open and the quarterback just doesn't see you? Because I saw Jeremiah get a little ticked off yesterday when he threw it to Claire and Jeremiah had a step on his guy. So, I mean, look, Jeremiah's obviously a level-headed guy who works hard. He's obviously there to make plays, and he's thinking, man, we had a touchdown. So what's in your mind when the quarterback just doesn't see you?
Best way I can put it, Corey, that's like hitting your sales quota and you don't get the commission.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you bust your butt, you run a great route, you know you're going to score if it's thrown to you. And yeah, very, very frustrating. But it happened. I mean, it's part of the game. And I thought, obviously Jeremiah showed some frustration, but he handled it well. He didn't go berate his quarterback and, do some of the other shenanigans we've seen guys do at the pro level at times. So he handled that well. But it's definitely a frustrating feeling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a confident guy, but he's not a arrogant, nasty guy.
No, not at all. He's a great, very, very humble kid. Great kid.
All right, let's see if we can't run through some of these questions from the chat here. We got a bunch of them piling up here, and I want to try to get to them as many as I can here before 9:30. Bobby Mack says, Jamal, I watched some film on Favor Key. I think he's a top 5 running back recruit in 2026. What are your thoughts?
Well, I unfortunately did not get to see him play week 1. He got hurt on the first play, which was a bummer. I have not seen him play since his sophomore year. I didn't cover any of Hayes' games last year. So I didn't get a chance to see him play last year. So I was excited to watch him this year, but he's very explosive. He's a guy that can put his foot in the ground and he can take it the distance at any time. He's got good balance, got good vision. He's got all the tools to be a big-time back, and he's got breakaway speed. So I'm excited to see. Hopefully he gets back on the field here in the next few weeks from what I'm hearing. I do have them covered towards the end of the season. So hopefully he'll be back for that game, and I'm looking forward to watching him play later this year.
I was at that game, Jamal. My stepson Xander, who's a freshman, got to dress varsity. He's one of the kids holding up the signs for the quarterback on the side as a freshman, but playing JV at linebacker. And I saw you there, and I was like, you looked so focused. I wasn't even going to come up to you and say hi. I was like, Jamal doing some work. He doesn't want Boggsy running up. Hey, Jamal, just let him go. He's doing
next
his work,
time.
man.
You better come up and give me some
All
love,
right, buddy. I'll give you some love next time, man. Buck Vader, producer of the Buckeye Ladies and producer of the Buckeye Lounge. Good to see you tonight here, Vaughn. At what point should we give Bo Jackson a bigger look?
Patience, Buck Vader. Patience. Week 1 against one of the top fronts in the country. Let these guys cook a little bit. I think we saw some solid things out of both backs at times. And Donaldson, I think, can be a really, really great power, short yardage back consistently. But I think Peoples has got a lot more in the tank than what he was able to show yesterday. So, just give it some time. Bo Jackson is a great player. I did see him in practice a couple weeks ago. He's going to be a big-time player, but Peoples and Donaldson have everything needed to be effective backs this year, and I think we'll see that in the coming weeks.
Eric Osbeck, our buddy Eric, good to see you watching on Facebook. What was the longer moment? Maurice Clarett chased down his own fumble and got it back against Miami, or I think he's comparing it to the Holy Buckeye play.
Yeah.
The Holy Buckeye play was the longer moment just because of the nature of it. I mean, it was a pass that felt like forever. Reese's strip takedown of the late, great Sean Taylor, that was more of a bang-bang play, so it didn't feel, as long. So definitely the Holy Buckeye moment felt like forever. So I got to go with that one.
One more from Vaughn here, Buck Vader. Jamal, would you take Downs or Doss?
I gotta go with my boy.
That's an
My
unfair
boy Mike.
question.
Gotta go with my boy Mike Doss. Deuce all day. Yes.
Oh man, we gotta get his digits from you, man. If you ask him if he'd be willing to come on
Yeah, for
and
sure.
do an interview with us. Okay, this one's for us, boys. We're getting called to the fire here a little bit by our DCB. Now that you guys got to see the defense do what it did against Texas, does that change your outlook on some of the games this season that you thought they might have trouble in, Chris?
That's a really good question.
No, because I didn't predict him to have trouble this season.
You said we were going to lose in Champaign, Illinois.
Champaign, Illinois. And honestly,
they looked really good, by the way.
They did. I do feel a little more confident in that game after seeing this defense play this good this early. But ask me again after Washington.
That's fair.
Because we don't know what we have in Texas. So.
Week 1 is such a liar. Johnny said that to me a couple years ago, and he's been dead on you just never know from week 1. I tell you what though, I feel better, more optimistic. I truly went in with Matt and Patricia not knowing what to expect. I was very wait and see. I didn't down on him. I didn't hate the hire. I just was, I don't know. I have no idea what to think. I was very confident when we hired Jim Knowles because of what he had done in Oklahoma State. Bringing an NFL guy who hasn't really been a serious defensive coordinator since New England, I didn't know he could teach it to college kids or whatever. Obviously, he's doing great. Step 1, he aced it. So I feel more confident now going forward, but still, it's week 1.
Ryan Day's Championship Beer gifted 1 membership, and that went to our buddy Troy. So congratulations, Troy. Thank you, RDCB, and congratulations,
DK.
Troy. Our buddy Dylan Kuhn. Y'all nervous about coming to West Lafayette after we routed the powerhouse Ball State? DK, we love you, buddy, but
I'd be more nervous about.
But basketball season's coming up soon.
Listen, they win 3 games. We're throwing a parade for DK. Remember that. We're throwing a parade for DK if they win 3 games over there with the little choo-choos. And I think he would take 3 games. I think he would. Let's be serious.
I forgot who their new coach was.
Can I drive the little choo-choo?
Well, did you hear the last one got in a wreck? Got obliterated in a wreck. DK says we win 3 games. I'm claiming the natty.
Auburn can do it, so
yeah, Auburn's out there claiming stuff now, man.
UCF claimed it in 17. So.
All right, Jamal, most serious question of the night. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
The other night, a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a week ago, I don't know. You posted a picture of yourself back in the day. Oh yeah.
When I had hair.
You had some sweet locks, my man.
Yeah.
You got this picture, don't you, Eric?
No, I did.
You failed.
I was waiting for it to pop up or something. Like.
I wouldn't do that to you, brother. I'd ask you first, man. But all right, so I gotta ask, man. If you could pull off any hairstyle today, what would you go with? Would you go back to the locks?
You know,
or are you
what?
like, no, I'm good smooth, brother?
You know what? E? I would go back to the locks. I loved having my hair braided. The challenge with it was I'm tender-headed. So when I would get my hair braided, I would literally be in tears, like sitting in the chair. But the after effect, I loved the look of it. And so it made it worth it. So it lasted for about a year. I think I started growing it out. Right after we won the national championship, I started growing my hair out. And I finally was able to get it long enough to get it braided by week 1 of the 2003 season. So I had braids for the entire season. And I kept them all the way through pro day and into the summer. And then I cut them because I was in between chasing pro ball and having to get a real job. So I was doing interviews, and so I had to cut my hair. But if I could go back, I would do the braids. And
nice.
Yeah. Just
now,
enjoy the pain.
I heard a story that Was that back when did you guys braid Tressel's hair?
Yes. Yeah, that was a
Did they
yeah.
hey, we need Tressel to look like Jamal. Get over here, brother.
You know, I've got the picture up.
What?
You got the
I've got the
picture?
picture.
Oh,
Show it, Chris.
oh goodness.
This is so
I
good.
gotta.
All right, you work on that, Jamal. Tell us
Yep.
the Tressel getting his hair braided story.
So Coach Tress made a promise as we were doing bowl preparation before we went out to Phoenix for the national championship game. He made a promise that if we won a national championship, he would get his hair braided. Richard McNutt had challenged him to see if he would do that, and he promised that if we won it all, he would get his hair braided. And so obviously we won it. So the first day of winter workouts, first day of 6 a.m. workouts, Coach Tress shows up with braids in his hair and a stocking cap on, and did the whole winter workouts with him. And he kept it in maybe for a couple days. But the girl that braided his hair was a friend of mine that braided my hair too. She ran track for Ohio State at the time. So she braided a lot of the guys' hair on the team. So she did Coach Tress's as well. That is a fact.
All right, I've got it here. Let me go grab it real fast.
Oh, I've got it up.
Oh well, I'll do it this way. It's a little bit easier if you can grab it and upload it as a JPEG, Chris, than trying to share your screen. When you share your screen, you have some issues with it. But yeah, I've got it right here. So we'll throw this up real fast. We'll throw it over top of you and I so people can see it. But all right, everybody, here you go, man.
This kind of looks like the photo that he had when he was autographing down at Marietta, doesn't it?
Yeah. Look at that, Jamal. Look at that look you're giving, man.
Focus.
Man, that's some anger.
I was locked in.
Jamal looking at that photographer like he killed somebody, man. I'm telling you, like, look at you. Gonna take somebody out, man.
All about business there.
So good, brother. That is so good.
Good times.
Oh, we got one more question tonight, guys. We'll finish with this one. It's a good one to finish on. After week 1, how do you guys feel about next week's big game, Michigan, Oklahoma, Chris?
I with it being at Oklahoma, I'm going to give Oklahoma the edge. Now, don't get me wrong. The team up north came out and given they had a first-time starter in their quarterback, thought they looked pretty good. I thought the defense looked pretty decent. But again, it was against a team that was 2-10 with, what they say, 37 new rostered players. So
New Mexico hasn't had a winning season since 2016.
This is not a good team that they played against. So I would say temper your expectations, Michigan fans. I think Oklahoma is probably the better team, but we'll just have to wait to see how it plays out on the field.
I can't wait to see Bryce against a fairly decent defense in Oklahoma because
that line is tough.
Yeah, and again, he's obviously talented. I'm not taking that away from him, but people are just going nuts over New Mexico, and I'm like, come on, guys. I mean, there's a couple passes he threw that Ohio State would have picked off easily, especially one across his body, and he was, I don't know. I was like, he looked like he was making freshman mistakes, but he's getting away with them against an inferior opponent. So I think it'll be close, but I actually do think, I think Michigan's going to be better at manufacturing a win than what Oklahoma is. I don't have a lot of faith in Brent Venables right now. I think even last year when they were 8-5, Michigan got really good towards the end of the season at manufacturing wins, even when they didn't look great. So I actually somewhat think Michigan will win a close one against Oklahoma.
Jamal?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. It's going to tell us a lot about where both of these schools are, but in particular, the team up north is who we have our eyes on. So we'll really get a chance to kind of see what they're made of. Last week against New Mexico doesn't tell me anything about them, who they are, but this week will tell us a little bit about who they are. So I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup, and it's on the road. So obviously we'll we'll be tuned in and see what's up.
All right, so there's no pictures on the internet that I could find doing a quick search of Jim Tressel and dreadlocks. However, this is what a sketch artist rendering of Tressel with dreadlocks looks like according to 11 Warriors. Jamal, can you confirm? Was that what it looked like?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And he had to get some extensions to get it long enough in the back like that.
Hey,
But
he didn't welch. I'll give him that.
yeah, that's Coach Tress.
Oh my gosh. That is so good.
Eric, when are you getting your hair braided?
Buddy, listen, that ain't never good. I hope I don't lose my hair, because if I have to go bald, do you guys realize what I will look like? I'll look like
Hulk Hogan thing.
I'll look like Fester from the Addams Family. It's gonna be bad.
Well,
Maybe Butterbean. I could probably pull off the Butterbean look. Maybe.
I don't know if you'll look as good as Fester, but yeah.
Oh, thanks, Cory. Nice, thanks.
Hey, feel good about yourself. I'm like fat Hulk Hogan down here.
Fat Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace, man. Eric Osbeck says, thank you, Jamal. Thank you, Eric, for hopping in, man. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody in the chat tonight. Jamal, tell everybody where they can find you, what you're into, and how they can follow you. I know you got different businesses going on, man.
Yeah, follow me on all social media platforms at JLukeYDC, JLukeYDC, Instagram, X, and Facebook. Yeah, follow me. Stay tuned. I got some good stuff in the works. We're currently launched an online trading community. We do day trading, focus on Forex, stocks, indices, and crypto. And so fitness trainer as well. And so a lot of my content you'll see revolves around those two things, and then my kids as well. So yeah, follow me. Would love to connect with everybody on social media, and go Bucks.
That's it, man. He's one of the best. Jamal, thank you so much for hopping in on us tonight. I knew, win or lose, we needed to have someone on tonight, a former player who was going to be a great interview either way. And you're the man, Jamal. You're one of my favorite, buddy. Ever since I met you down in Southern Ohio, I've been a big fan, my friend.
I appreciate you. That means a lot, man. And anytime, just hit me up.
All right, guys, there you have it. Again, thank you so much, everybody. Next week, we'll have another special guest, former Buckeye, recording artist, Mecca Dawn is going to be with us next Sunday night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm working on getting our boy Wargo in a couple weeks as well. He's going to actually be here in Columbus next weekend. So hopefully you can connect with him. But we're working on trying to get some former Buckeyes joining with three of us in a rotation on Sunday nights and this season. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we appreciate you, Jamal. Make sure you guys go follow him. Make sure you follow everything we do. We're going to have all kinds of content for you guys again this week. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're here for you all. So make sure you share the show. Let everybody know what's happening over here at the OHIO podcast with the Buckeye Lounge, the Buckeye Ladies, our call-in shows, the Sunday Night Roundtable, the live watch parties with Cory. By the way, Cory, you knocked it out of the park again yesterday. One of our best viewed videos in the last month was you being the voice of the Buckeyes live for
That's
everybody.
Paul, man. I can't take Paul's title, man.
Good old Paul Keels. He's the man. Thanks, everybody, once again. Remember, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in Carmen, Ohio, with all your heart. Till next time, you guys all know what to do. OH!
Oh!
Go Bucks.